Ladies, welcome to this video. Coach Jerry here. I'm about to soon work out, and then, of course, there is a call here with Claudia, I see. That's great. Anyway, welcome to this video. I want to give you a little bit of perspective about something that I'm thinking about doing here. As I saw, just I saw statistics about people dropping off from the gyms and reason why people drop off from the gyms. And then I saw, for example, statistic about personal training and why personal training is beneficial. And then I thought, why don't I just give a why don't I just give an opinion about what I think about not only this statistic, but what I feel like additionally we can do when we actually coach people instead, when we coach people online and possibly even offline. And of course, looking back at this statistic is funny because it says people dropping off from gyms, reasons like, gyms are too packed, the pressure about, being watched, especially in ladies, being watched in the gym, finding not really sure and confidence about doing exercises and stuff like that. And when it comes to personal training instead, it's like, the benefit about personal training was like, you never find the machine which are full. It's always one to one. You're motivated, you're instructed about doing the exercise the right way. And that's all true, but what I found in my experience when, going from personal training to to online was that the results doesn't really come. And this, by the way, applies to anything that you do. Like if you decide to do stuff on your own, read stuff on your own, you're always going to find this confusion about the information or not be able to apply it. Or if you go to a person like a personal trainer or a dietitian, there is always this disconnect because whether they show you what to do on the moment or whether they tell you what to eat, there is never this like they always do that with you for an hour, and then there is never really this follow up of what you do for the rest of the 24 hours, right? And that's of course not only the 24 hours in the day, but the 7 days of the week or the 30 days of the month. And the results come sadly not from what you do 1 hour or like one day. It comes from the addition of the action that you take. Now, what I've been able to do, and I can tell you with certainty that I've been able to do that, is because not only I was a personal trainer, a very good one, a very clinical one. When we work with Danilo, my colleague, which I keep talking about. We work with really scientific based personal training, and now it's he still does a lot of diagnostic with the bioelectrical impedance and all that stuff. But aside from that, we I went in several different gyms. I work in Switzerland pretty much on South, pretty much everywhere. And I also work in US when it comes to, being inside different type of group training and, those like EMS, like all the things you can find. And as soon as I moved online, I was able to impact more people, but to a different degree, even to a different satisfaction degree, because I was able to connect with people. And what I mean by that is because not only you give the framework of what to do of the 29 days or like the 23 hours that you're now with a personal training, but you also are able to shift somebody behavior. The only thing that really gonna matter when you need to be able to make those changes. Now, why am I saying this? Is because not only I realize here that a lot of people don't really like they know that they have an issue over 40, and we specialize on ladies over 40, but they don't really understand not only what they should do, but then when they know what to do, they don't understand how to do it, or like they don't necessarily do it. And it's because again, you do not shift your behavior. And this is why we've been trying to set up all these free challenges, mini challenges. We try to bring guests in, like Massimo, that is gonna talk next Monday, to kind of like shift your behavior. But the reality is that changes only happen when you want to change. This is why I'm putting this together. I'm like saying, why gyms, for example, doesn't work versus why it works. Like if you were to be motivated and know what to do and actually make a habit, so what you're doing, well, then it would work. But why statistics speaks to that is because people really need to be taught on how to change their behavior. And this is why, the difference between, on a nutshell between going to the gym versus the personal training versus dietitian versus what we do is that we basically encompass all the information that you have to do. And of course, we have to teach you how to change the behavior. If you were to want to know more on what we do, you can come on Metabolic Advantage, and I'll show you a video of why this system works. Because provided you understand that online coaching or coaching is for you, then it's really about finding out if the system that we set up is the one that you need when it comes to your change. Now, what I wanted to go to a different degree is that if you just see what I posted a few minutes ago, it talks about a seminar, a possible seminar, which it might happen, is because I found that there is only so many things that you can do online, and there are a few very important things like stress testing yourself, or we stress testing you. There are things such as going to me and my colleague in person and actually looking inside your body, like with this non-invasive bioelectrical impedance test that shows you the level of hydration, how your minerals are, how is your cellular mass, how, like all these things that show you, like, not only, like, it's basically, instead of like from biofeedback like we do, telling you what your hormonal issue is actually showing you what's going on in there. And that allows you to of course, save a lot of time going towards a more deep specific direction, telling you, okay, you're more of a sugar burner, more of a fat burner, and all that stuff. And this is invaluable. And much like we did in our first seminar, the mindset belief shifting, it's big. And more on that in a second, but specifically the practical application in the gym with weights is what really make a difference, because a trainer will show you, yeah, will train you, will progressively train you, right? But essentially, once you understand how to do the exercise at the intensity, you don't necessarily need a trainer if you can stay motivated. If I can motivate you from the other side of the world, like, you don't need a trainer, but you do need to see what it means to train for real, like what it means, what intensity, what typology of the training. So, it would be nice to really learn everything you need in a morning or in an afternoon in the gym. The mindset shifting, like the paradigm shift, is the most important, because if you follow me, if you like what you see here, it means, like, for some weird reason, like you see something that reflects on you. Now, I went through multiple transformation in my life. I'm going through one right now. I really want to, you know, learn how to take off a lot of things from my life which are not necessary, without the feeling about there is something that I'm penalized from. Meaning, like, for example, like, I used to go out a lot and drink for fun, for take some alcohol and drink for fun, and I wouldn't, for the longest time, be able to give this up, because I thought like I didn't really see this identity on myself. I don't really want to give that up. I'm not the coach that says you shouldn't drink, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this. I'm just the one that says be flexible. But my flexibility in moments of weakness turned into my biggest enemies, and that is that at the end of the day, then that doesn't help, and obviously creates even a biggest problem when it comes, for example, for my stress, for my sleep, for all that stuff. So now it's been like probably a few weeks that I'm being completely off any even fun drinking. And when I go out, for example, I'm taking like a, zero alcohol mojito, whatever, and like you feel like you don't feel penalized. You feel like you even, because I used to kind of like drink, and sometimes also to be social, to really be stressless. And I realized that you can do that without doing all these things. That applies to food. That applies to toxic relationship. That applies to things that you don't want to do. That applies to a lot of things. And really, when you want to change, something need to switch into yourself. And, like, there are things that we do, but there is only things that we can do. So there is only so many things we can do online. Like, sometimes you really need to go a layer deeper and really connect in person. To actually say, okay, we can do that in a different way. Now, if this happens again, it happens one time, like back in 2018, I guess it was. It was fantastic as well. Was one day. I'm thinking now to actually do this one time for now, which is summer, a lot of people go to vacation. Here in Switzerland, to have two options. If we do that, it's probably going to be for 2 days, and the idea is to give an option for people to fly them here and find a Airbnb or something like an hotel for them, and say really give a full experience for that. Um, and of course, on top of the seminar, the 2 day seminar, which is going to include all this field testing, is going to include mindset, is going to include in the gym, is going to include dinner with myself, which of course, if I guess if you're spending any money on me, means like you like me and you probably want to connect with me. The other option is probably you fly yourself here and then you would pay for the seminar. And again, I haven't come up with pricing yet because I've kind of like, of course, need to not only to talk with my colleague, but see what is realistic here. And obviously also see where would you fly from, because if you fly from Sweden or Norway, it's very different than if you fly from US. Yeah, obviously that would be things we could get to talk about. Now, these things, if it happens, it won't be cheap. I'll tell you this much. Much like you save money to go to vacation, you can save money to invest in your health. And this is quite funny because, and I wanted to talk about this. I'm never gonna tell you how to spend your money or where to invest. Yet, this is funny because a lot of people, and again, this applies not only to the seminar, but applies to anything that you do in your health. I talk to people every day, and never like in this time of my life, I've been so vulnerable when it comes to my health. The stressful, from the some personal stuff, from the lack of sleep, from the working too much. It made me understand that, especially money, which I always said, money is not only not everything, but it's not even like what money is. And I'm gonna use a quote here from one of my favorite TV shows, which is basically Money Heist, and he was using this analogy with gold. Like if you saw the last, like I think the last episode of Money Heist, it was using the analogy with gold. What is gold for a country? It's basically an illusion. It's a psychological support because you don't pay any transaction with gold. Like it's just gold. It's just there in the bank. Same thing with money though. It's just paper, if you think about it. And why I say this is because a lot of like people, everybody has a weird relationship with money. And the weirdest it is, the worse your life is gonna be. Let me tell you. Because money is exactly that. It's basically an illusion. It's psychological support. You'll use that to pay for transaction. And nowadays, when you go even online, when you make your payments, whenever you pay your rent, whenever you pay, you don't usually even use it. It's just there. You have it or you don't, right? A lot of people would say, I cannot, like, they would talk to me and was like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to change. I really feel like you can help me. And I always say 1 to 10, from 1 to 10, how important this is. It's 10. My health is the first thing. And I always say, why is the first thing? Oh, because I'm just going to feel much better. I'm going to be more confident. My marriage is going to be under control. I'm just going to feel, I'm not going to have diseases, right? It's like, it's so important. And when sometimes we say, okay, how we get you started working together. And there is two type of people. It's like one is going to pull the trigger and the other one is always gonna find some weird ass excuse not to invest in themselves. And then I say, okay, so didn't you just say this is the most important things in your health? Like the health is the most important things. And then I say, they always say to me, it's like, yeah, that's true. And I say, okay, so like tell me when is the last time you invested for your health? What are you investing now in your health? And usually they come up with something like, oh, you know what? I can only afford like $50 or euro for whatever for my membership in the gym. And usually it's never about really having a problem of not having it. It's just that it's not important. It's not as important as other things that you decide that are important. So when you say, I really only spend on food, I only spend on rent, and then the only thing I have left is just to go to the gym. Well, that's a pretty good excuse, I would say, because we always driven from our needs. So it's like safety first, right? Then there is like the health, which of course you will learn that health is invaluable. It's like more important than the rent because sure you have to live somewhere, but when you kind of like feel like you're losing your health, whether you're losing your brain, whether you're like feeling anxiety, whether you're depressed, whether you are, like you will understand that there is not anything more important than yourself. Now, when you say I only have $50 to invest in my health, you're snapping a label of $50 worth. You're only worth $50 for your health. When you just said that the health is the most important things in your life. So think about it. And I'm making this example because if the example I've given you, like from paying the rent, paying the food, whatever, keeping up with your kids, whatever, if that was the case, that would be justified. But most people, and I'm going to say not everybody, but most people, they have other needs. Like, I ask, how did you invest in your health? The gym, whatever, right? And then what else? How have you spent your money the last week? What are your subscription? Oh, I did my nails. I had Netflix. I went out for a dinner, for two people. And how much did you spend? $100, whatever. Like that moment, those three things were more important. And I get it why. Because we are we are kind of like reward creatures, meaning like Netflix reward you for the moment. The nails make you feel better, more of a woman. If you invest on a bag or whatever, because that you work so hard for that or so hard to go to vacation, because you feel like you want to be rewarded. You cannot see reward in your health because it takes work. And you know damn well as I do is because like if you see all people succeeding in my program, it doesn't mean you will succeed. You still have to do the work. I can open your eyes how to do it, but you still have to do it. And until you don't see that, until you don't turn that corner, you're not gonna win. And I get it on why we want to invest for your health. But if you do want to invest for your health and you see that you are the priority, then you will find that if you look at your expenses, there are always a lot of things that you deem more important, but which in really aren't more important. Meaning like it's not about not having the money, it's about choosing where to invest. And why I'm saying this is because whether you decide, if we do a seminar and you decide to come, whether you just are here watching, and I don't want to speak to the hundred of thousands, few thousand in a group that maybe are not even doing any work, but I want to speak to those that are contemplating about hiring a coach, about changing your behavior, about changing your life, and seeing, okay, whether we are the solution for you. And if that's the case, whether it's a investment problem or whether it's a clarity problem about I want to see exactly how you are different or whatever, drop a message down below, contact me, or directly, whatever. Like if we are able, we will change your life. But you need to switch. You need to turn that corner first. Like you need to really understand, I am a priority, my health is a priority, and I want to change. If you understand that, you will change. And with this being said, I hope this helped. Go and look for my post. I tagged everybody on that post about the seminar, and let me know if you're interested. We definitely can. In the summer is something I would love to do, and it might be a good way as well to say, a lot of you maybe don't have yet you know, planned a vacation, and you say, instead of going to vacation this year, why don't I just invest in my health? It's only 2 days. I mean, if you like me, like we get to meet finally, we get to hang out, we get to work together. And if you are not in Switzerland, if you like Switzerland, is also a place that a lot of people like to go to vacation. It's very close to a lot of things. With it's gonna be a lot of events happening in August and so forth. Who knows? But if it's something that happens, it's gonna happen fast. It's gonna happen in the summer because one thing about Switzerland is that you love when it's a summer. Weather usually not that much this year, but usually good. Then in the winter is a little bit gloomy. So of course, if I do it, it would be in the summertime. Hopefully this helped. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you have for me. If you have any question, if you want to ask anything, of course, comment down below. Talk to you soon and have a fantastic